Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Build, Paint, Play. I'm Dave.
Greetings, programs. I'm Jake. For a split second, I was like, we lost Sean.
Oh, he was always there.
I'm here. It's Sean, everybody.
Oh, man.
Welcome, Sean. Thanks for joining us tonight to chat about a bit more about Relicblade and some of the cool new things that you're doing with it all. The
Yes.
new adventures, the gambles, the crazy fun.
We persist. Yeah, Relicblade 10 years old now,
Oh my
which is
goodness.
like pretty cool.
That's
and
awesome.
still going strong. Yeah. And like, we'll talk about it, but I just am launching my first hard plastic kits, transitioning to some like very, very cool developments for my models.
That is awesome. Cool. So first thing we'll do, we'll say hi to Scott in the chat. He said, "Hey yo, Sean Sutter, the James Brown of the hobby industry."
I like that. That's pretty great.
I was super tempted in the notes below to call you the Renaissance Man, but I might have done that previously, so I didn't do it this time. But we'll also say hi to Malev. Of course, Malev is here. I think Sean is cool, he says.
Yeah, I think Malev is cool.
Malev is cool. Dave Hummel is here. Hank has joined us early again, he says.
He's doing a great job.
Mark Maxey is here as well. And Luis has joined us. Greetings, everyone, he says.
Nice.
Malev says, whoa, we got buff Sean. I guess it's nice and sunny out there.
It is. I just mowed the lawn, so I'm all like, my whole world is under control now that the lawn is mowed.
Oh, nice.
Sean, where are you?
Napa, California.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Today was wild. It was 80 today in Boston.
That's too hot.
For Boston, for Boston every year, that's way too hot.
Yeah. I think you're up to 88 in Baltimore, but the humidity hasn't kicked in yet. So
Yeah, no, it was nice today. It was just warm.
Excellent. Sean Gleason has joined us. Chris Kemig is here as well.
What's going on, guys?
So Sean, we were talking before the show. Adepticon, you still haven't recovered from it?
No, not emotionally, not spiritually,
Not physically.
not physically, not economically. No, yeah, it's I explained before. I I start working on preparing for Adepticon in January. Like that's the main thing I'm doing. And through February and through March. And then April is all recovering from Adepticon. So it's like, it's a major thing for me to show up with product at that show. And, you know, I think it was probably like my best Adepticon yet. And the event team just absolutely did amazing stuff with tons of events, painting events, gaming events, learn to play events. And yeah, it was terrific. Really.
That's great. Jake, have you recovered from Adepticon?
I would say for the most part, I'm still exhausted, dude. Like that was so much running around and like just like bouncing between like event and doing work at booths and saying hi to people and hanging out. Like it was all great. Like I'm not upset in any way, shape, or form. I'm just like, man, I'm still like wiped out. Like I'm still just tired. I think part of it is, we've talked about this a little bit before. Like, not only is it like my favorite show and we all like enjoy being there and it's all good stuff, but it's a little, it can be emotionally taxing because like you're so ramped up for it and you're so excited to be there and like buzzing around. Like, and I'm like according to Greg, I'm an extrovert. So like, I like talking to people and like being out and about, but there's just so much. And also like there was some bummer stuff too. Like we talked about everything with Jeff and like that was emotionally draining. That was a lot to kind of like unpack and like go through. So again, all good stuff, but yeah, like I'm still just kind of wiped out. I am really excited because I don't do any shows in April. So April is nice because I can just kind of like get back on a groove and I'm at the store a bunch and I'm, back playing hockey and like getting ready for the spring. And it's pretty chill. Like I don't have to go until like the third week of May? Yeah, third week of May. So
nice.
So I get like a good 7-8 weeks to just kind of be like, okay, I'm gonna get my feet back under me and kind of like like reload and kind of get ready for the next thing. And but also I mean like Sean, I don't know if you played any games there, but like I also get to play games at Adepticon. It's one of the few shows that I actually get. Like,
you do play games.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, like it's a little bit of everything. Like that's why it's such a good show. But it's it's like having a great Thanksgiving dinner. It's like, okay, now I'm gonna go pass out on the couch while the football game's on. You know what I mean?
I think for me, Adepticon's a little bit traumatizing because my friends from all over the world are there.
Yeah.
And I'm working the whole time.
Yeah.
So like, I get to after hours, I can go down and like we can chat, but I'm all used up by the time events are by the time the show is closed. So but we had a great time. I got to play one game at Adepticon. I played Space Gits with Mike Hutchinson.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
And I feel like on average I get to play one game, and that was the one I was hoping I could do because he was visiting from the UK and we got to play and drink beers at the same time, which the game is about drunk space orcs. So like it was poetry. It was like I was laughing so hard I had tears in my eyes. So I mean that's what it's about. When you do get to play though, it's the best place to be playing.
I think like Alan made a really good point. Like one of the things we like, because we do so many shows. One of the nicest things about this is that, and like Dave and I do at like San Diego Comic-Con, for example. So like when we're at San Diego Comic-Con, the vendor hall is the show. So like when the vendor hall is open, the show is happening. And when the vendor hall closes, like everybody leaves. Whereas at Adepticon, the nice thing is because they close the hall at 6 normally, and then the last day is a little shorter. But like when they close at 6, like you've got the whole evening to kind of do whatever. So like even Alan was like, he's like, I was working at the booth and like, we were swamped and like I couldn't get away. And then we stay for a half hour, 45 minutes, like resetting the booth. And then it's like after 6:30, he's like, that's me time. He like goes and plays games and gets stuff in. And like, I'm assuming you were running like organized play events too. Like you probably had like,
just run down to the Relicblade room.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, like, it's a mixed bag. I really like the Milwaukee location, the Baird Center, for the food options. Cause like we can walk to a lot of restaurants.
Yeah.
And a lot of like casual dining so that you aren't trapped at a table with 18 people and like one stressed waitress asking why you guys are there. So like, I don't know. It's been really good for being able to have a more relaxed eating on a regular basis. And
for next year, I'll happily volunteer him. Ben buys stuff from you every year. My business partner, he gets stuff from you guys every year. He loves your stuff. He's been shopping with you for as long as he's worked with us. So it's been at least 6 years or something like that, maybe longer. And I can tell you right now, if you were like, hey, I could use some help with the booth, I'm sure that Ben would absolutely do that. So if you need more people to make sure that you get some Sean time, I think that you have enough people that would be like, yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly, I'm just going to say hi to Art with Mark. Says number one Sean Sutter fan from Wisconsin.
Ooh, nice.
The snow shovel.
I think it's invitational. Snow Shovel Invitational. Yeah, they run events.
There we go.
I think also with Sludge too, which is one of my other games.
Sludge is awesome.
Yep.
Battle.
Josh Gifford has joined us. Sun's out, guns out. Sean.
Nice.
He says I'm pretty excited afterwards, but tired. Tired but excited. And Dave Hummel says, so what you're saying is I should take the following week after the event off.
I mean, I'd give yourself a day or two to bounce back.
All the days, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be rough to go into the office after Adepticon.
I flew back the Monday morning. I got up 4, left the hotel at 4 in the morning, flew back, landed at 9:30 in Baltimore, and was at the office by 10:30.
No, thank you. I flew back Monday afternoon, made sure that we had coverage at the shop, so I didn't work Monday. Worked all day Tuesday, and then Wednesday is my normal day off. So I basically just had to fly back, work Tuesday, and then I was like, I'm going to take it easy on Wednesday. Yeah. So
it
was my daughter's spring break. So I got home at I think what would have been 4 a.m. Milwaukee time. And then kind of laid around in the morning and then took my daughter on a spring break vacation, a road trip. And that was not the right move. I was so burnt out. I was like, oh my God, driving. Listen to a fun audiobook though. Gideon the Ninth about space necromancer lesbians.
Nice.
It was great.
Awesome. Also in the chat, I just spotted Brent from Goobenhound Hobbies is here. He says, hey, pals.
Nice.
Brendan Bell has joined us. Mike Sibilia is here. Marshall is here. Chris Marshall. Welcome, everybody. Brendan Bell says the King and I think that's his favorite Milwaukee restaurant, the Thai restaurant, which is like a block from the Bed Center.
I'll have to check that out next year. I didn't get that. I love Thai, so
yeah, I haven't been there yet. So we'll definitely have to do that one.
All right,
but it is definitely good. The food options there. That I'm sure I ate more regularly at Adepticon this year than I have at any Adepticon previously.
Yeah.
Still running on a lot of adrenaline, but definitely putting some food in there to back it up, which was nice.
But I mean, that's part of because just to reiterate how tragic it is, I think Brent, and I think I got to walk by his booth while he was in the middle of a conversation with someone and blow a kiss at him.
Right.
And like you, Dave, I was running down the hall and was able to shout, hey, Dave. And who knows if you knew it was even me. So it's so chaotic. That was our only time to talk.
Well, we had that brief moment where I think you were probably walking to play that game of Space Kits with Mike.
Yes, yeah.
I interrupted and I introduced Mike to my friends who had just finished playing games of Space Kits, and then you and I chatted just for 30 seconds.
Yeah, so that's the part of the tragedy is there's never enough time.
Absolutely. There we go. And Brent says barely saw so many folks.
Even the photo when we did our recap, the photo I have of Brent, he's they're both at their booth, and I was like, oh, swing by and say hello, and they were 3 people deep, and I was just got a photo. I was I see Brent all the time because we do a lot of local shows. He's also
cool.
So I see him a couple times, and I was like, he's swamped. Like, do your thing, man. Like, that's the other thing too that's really nice. Like, because everybody in our industry goes to that show, it's a really, really good show for shopping. And like everybody I know that had a booth this year or like was doing something, they were all like, oh, it was great. Like I had a great, great show, crushed last year's goals and all that kind of stuff. So that's always awesome to hear. Cause like people go to that show with a shopping agenda and people know I'm going to go to Adepticon and I'm going to buy this and I'm going to buy this and I'm going to buy this. And then I'm going to set aside $400 for who knows what. And they're like, I'm going to spend $400.
Yeah.
Like, so like that's always nice to see. But yeah, it's always busy. Like there's so many people that I literally got to like, it was like, hey, what's up? As we're like passing each other, all kind of things. So.
Yep. Excellent.
One of my friends, we always try to find a new game to buy and paint so that when we get to hang out, we have like the new thing from Adepticon.
Yeah, for sure.
But the last 2 years, I haven't even been able to get away from my booth to find the thing to buy. It's cruel.
Cue the sad violin music.
I know, of all things. No new toys. But that's the cool thing is some people did give me models, and so like all of my cool stuff is the little gifts that people gave me. So
that's always the fun stuff. Like I got this guy. We showed him off last week. This is Nigel's. That's a great photo. This is the John Blanche. What is it called? On Guard. Yeah. So I got one of the dudes from Nigel. He was walking around. He gave me one. He gave Dave one, and I got to work on that guy. There's always like wacky stuff at Adepticon that I love, but then 9 times out of 10, I'll see the stuff. I'm like, oh, I forgot that was coming out.
Oh yeah, look at that pirate guy.
The models are sweet.
Yeah,
they are. I think I'd have fun painting that.
I'm sure you would.
Yeah. You could maybe trade some pigs to Nigel for some pirate guys. Pigs for pirates. That seems like a good deal.
Sure. That'll work. There's alliteration in there. It's got to work.
100%.
Excellent.
Oh,
that's
man.
good. I was also going to say, Mark Maxey said Dorsia has pasta flights.
At first, I thought it said pasta fights, and I was like, "What is that?"
Oh. Dibs on the meatballs. No, pasta flights. That's kind of wild.
I like that.
Preparing some flights of pasta. Pizza Max says hello. It says I just want my carcass front box.
Dude, I just put those up on the website for pre-order. Like that thing is gonna sell like crazy.
Yeah.
So can I ask you guys a 2-player game question?
I would love that.
Okay, so
that's like a topic I really like.
Yeah. So like we were looking at that, and a buddy of mine, I forget who I was talking to. Again, I'm still like a lot of it's a blur, but like we were talking about like different 2-player games that we had seen at the show, and obviously, we being part of the factory team, we were all in for their announcement. We got to see everything, and Mike kind of filled us in on everything, and we got to talk to Jamie. So the new carcass front box looks great, and it's got a bunch of new plastics in it, so we're all psyched about that. And then like obviously StarCraft was there. And I have mixed feelings about that. Like as a store owner, it was really weird. Like going into the show, I had a ton of people who were like, I want to get StarCraft, I want to get StarCraft, I want to get StarCraft. And then a couple of them were at the show, and it was like, well, I got one and I picked one up for my friend Steve. And I'm like, okay, cool. So like we're selling less, but it seems like a cool box. People are excited about it. I'm sure we'll still sell it. I'm not worried about it. But the weirdest one I saw was, oh God, what game was it? Malediction. I think, is that the one? Is it Malediction? It's all like the weird.
That's the card-based one.
Yeah, that's it. So they had a 2-player starter, and a friend of mine saw the models and was like, "Oh, those look really cool." And he was like, "Hey, have you seen anything about Malediction?" And I was like, "I haven't really." He's like, "Oh, their booth looked really cool. I'm gonna swing by tomorrow." So he goes by, and he was all like super stoked and stuff, and kept being like, "Hey, I want to get this guy." And they were like, "Oh, so it's an STL." And he was like, "Oh, okay, but like." I just want to buy that model from you guys. And they're like, we don't have that. And he was like, I don't understand. And they're like, well, it's just an STL. And he's like, no, I get that. He's like, so I don't want to 3D print it. I just want to buy it from you guys here at the show. Or can I buy it off the website? And they were like, you can sign up for our STLs and all this stuff. And he's like, so what if I buy the 2-player box? Because like I saw the guy on the box, and he's like, oh yeah, there's no miniatures in there. And we were like, what? I'm like, there's no miniatures in a 2-player starter miniature game set. And he was like, yeah. So I was like, he must have explained it wrong. You must have been talking to some guy who doesn't work for the company. It's some kid that they hired or whatever. So I'm like, we'll go back and talk to him tomorrow. So we go back and I'm talking to the guy. And again, he's like, oh yeah, it's all STLs and you have to download the thing. And he's like, but this has like, 2D like card cutouts of the guys in the box. And I was like, you guys are a miniature game company. He's like, yeah. And I was like, so you're selling miniatures? He's like, yes. I was like, and you're telling me that your 2-player starter set, that's a pretty big box and it's pretty heavy, there's no miniatures in the 2-player set? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And like, I was like, I'm all like, I just don't get it. I don't understand. Like they got my information, I think, from Gamma or something. And I've been getting like email being like, hey, do you want to bring our products in? And I was like, I want it to be like, what products? Like, like
it's tough. I mean, because making games is like a lot of different components.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think from what I can see, the components in that box set are a lot of the stuff that's hard to make.
Yeah.
But also probably most of their fan base are people who I think it's a Patreon. I would hate to misrepresent it, but I think that they are a STL, started at least as a STL company. And so a lot of their fan base probably has those STLs. And so like, do you resell those? I can relate to the like mess you get in by like adding things one step at a time. But yeah, calling it a starter set for a miniatures game and not having models in it is rough for new people.
Yeah, I was like, why? I don't like, why would you? I just don't get it. It just seemed, it seemed really, really odd that you would like. Again, I can't think of any other company that sells a 2-player starter set. That's
I think principally it's more like an accessory bundle.
Yeah,
because it's like it's like a measuring widget and a die and decks of cards. Which one thing is, Relicblade uses cards. Like cards are expensive to make and hard to restock and hard to manage as a product. And STLs are, I mean, you heard it here first. They're kind of nasty. They're like, no one values it. Like the creators that sell it don't value it. Even the premium ones, they were like 1 cent each if you were part of the Patreon. And now you want me to spend $22 on this giant when, it's just kind of rough. It translates weird. Because we mentioned briefly Sludge, and that game, I really sincerely believe it's quite good. But part of the product range is STLs, and that's very difficult because it doesn't support local game stores.
Yep.
It isn't accessible for average hobbyists, because even though 3D printing is quite accessible, I've been 3D printing for many, many years, and I just was cleaning 3D prints today, and it's so nasty. The resin, the alcohol, the curing it. So it's tough. And as we're figuring out how to design our products and talking about like 2-player starter sets, I have a 2-player starter set that's in development right now. And what exactly goes in it and how to make it a good value and how to make sure that people will want it is complicated, because like not everyone's going to want Space Marines and Orcs when 11th edition 40K comes out. And those are like the two best things. Like those are the two best things in the 40K universe. And still people will want one set more than the other, and not everyone's going to want it. So
I don't know. I know we're going to sell a ton of it. Like what happens all the time is like, and I tell people this constantly, Games Workshop has always been really good at the bigger the box, the better the deal, right? They're just really good at that. So like I know with Leviathan, for example, like we priced it out. Leviathan comes with between like $650 and $700 worth of stuff for whatever it was, like $250 or something, or like $270 or whatever the hell it was. But so you were getting
I don't know if anyone that bought it was paying that close attention. Just like, Space Marines.
Yeah, but we always tell people that too. Like I'll have new players that come in. Like we had kids that would come in and they were like, I really want to play Necrons, and I'm like, you should buy the Leviathan box. And they're like, oh, but I don't want all the Space Marines. And I was like, you could literally take the Space Marines out and throw them in the trash, and you would still be saving money, because the Necrons by themselves cost more than the box does. And then you're also getting the rule book and the widgets and all that stuff. Like all that stuff is just in there. And I was like, or what you do is you can sell that Space Marine half to somebody else, or you can give it to your friend and be like, hey, you should play this game with me. So it's always sorry, Votes is right. It was the Indominus box. The Tyranids were in the Leviathan box.
Same difference. The little brother faction, I think, is what we call it.
The other. It's Space Marines and so the new box is great because it's a remake of the second edition box. So it's Blood Angels versus Orcs. Everything in the box is going to be brand new. Like I've already told people what's in the box. Like they've teased some of it, but like all of it is going to be new sculpt. It's all stuff that we need. It's all stuff that we want. But again, from a value standpoint, it's a crazy deal. So, and that's because they want to get new players into the system. But a 2-player starter set, like what you need is you want to have 2 sets of whatever, like Team A, Team B, and then your basic rules. And it doesn't even need to be the full rule book. It can just be like the basic rules, and then like, whatever widgets and stuff you need, whether it's cards or dice or whatever. But yeah, I think every company that does that, I think for the most part, they understand like, oh, cool. We don't have somebody able to buy this thing, take it home, whip through the instructions, and like throw this stuff on a table and play a game. Like that's all you need. So again, that was my weird disconnect with Malifaux. I was like, we can't even really do that. I mean, I guess you could use
malediction.
Sorry, malediction.
But it is. I mean, it's a $60 set, and you can play, and you can decide if you like it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say I think they're marketing it as a miniatures card game, so it's gonna be different. And I'm gonna come at it with a spirit of generosity and say I'd give it a shot, but I do really like minis, and I think their minis as a STL company, I think that they're coming at it without the institutional knowledge of production for miniatures, because probably a lot of their models cannot be cast.
Oh no.
And you don't want a 60-70 part monster kit cast and made in a plastic frame, or at least I don't.
I agree with you. I think there's a huge I think there is a huge sort of disconnect's the wrong word, but I do think that there's a pretty big gap between the idea of like, hey, we make STLs versus like the everyday gamer. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm friends with probably several hundred, gamers of all different levels, but I can count the guys that are 3D printing their own stuff, like realistically, and doing a good job of it. It's a very small number out of that amount. Like we're talking probably less than a dozen people. There's a bunch of guys I know who have 3D printers, and they're the ones who are always like, I printed up some ruins. They're really simple kits. And you're like, okay, are you printing up armies? No. There's like, I have to do supports, and they're unsupported files, and I don't know how to do that, or I have to use them and then I have to cure them and stuff. And I'm just like, I get it. Like, I understand it's a lot. It's like, I don't want to have to like do all that stuff. I want to be able to buy the kit and build the kit and, play with it.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned 3D printing professionally because it's part of my, job.
Right.
And it's pure magic. I had a friend come over and he expressed some interest in, he was visiting from the UK, expressed some interest in Trench Crusade. So that night I clicked on the web store and I downloaded the things, and I had my FDM printer printing us all the weird size bases that it requires. And I had my resin printer churning out warbands. And in the morning, that night, we read the rulebook on the couch, zonked out on the couch. Yep. Next morning, our models were ready, and we painted in the morning and played in the afternoon. And like that, dude.
That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
That is, dude. We had our little iPads, read the rules while the printer is going in the garage. The next day, we were playing with fully painted warbands. So, like, that's magic.
Yeah,
and that's faster than Amazon one-day shipping. And so it's very cool. But that said, with all of the skills I learned for my profession, that was possible. And if I didn't have to learn it for work, I wouldn't do it. It's way better to buy a kit and glue it together and to have supported your local store doing it.
Yeah.
So, and that's coming from a guy who literally sells STLs. So whatever. My opinion is my own. It doesn't reflect Metal King Studio.
We'll jump in there. Let's let's jump in and start
Sure.
a conversation about plastics.
Oh yeah, let's.
Deals, but I'm super excited for us to talk about plastics tonight, and I have presentation.
Make sure anybody who's on, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe, do all the stuff, hit the bell, all that good stuff while we're doing this.
Yep. Excellent. Yeah, Sean sent me a whole bunch of wonderful photos. He did not send me this photo.
See a picture of Phil, that's awesome.
So yeah, just wanted to give a shout out to Phil.
Rocking my shirt.
Nice. Excellent. So yeah, this is Phil the Glacial Geek, fellow member of the Army Painter Factory team, and Phil set himself a goal sort of late last year to get to the top of the ITC. I think it's the International Team Championships. Hobby track.
It's the International Tournament
Championships. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, to the top of the hobby track. So this is something where it tracks all of your painting scores and results from all the tournaments you attend. And currently, Phil is at the top of the global rankings. So we're super proud of him. I was talking with my friend Brendan Bell, who I think is probably in the chat last week, and he had a great idea. I've passed that on to Phil for something for Phil to do for sort of aim for next year. So I've pitched it to Phil. He's going to be ruminating on that for a little bit.
Best beard.
Best beard, yes.
Awesome.
It'll be top of the ITC rankings for beards.
He's probably in the top 10, but
yeah, well, it's certainly not for mustaches. Sean is number one for mustaches, but
nice.
Yeah, but I don't compete. I do it for the love of the game.
Yeah, that's awesome. But anyway, congratulations, Phil, and thank you to the Army team, Army Painter Factory team.
Dave, did I tell you my like go back one sec? So the little hexagon icon silhouette that's over the factory team logo, this thing.
Yep.
So I don't remember if it was my nephew or one of my buddy's kids. We were hanging out like a couple weeks ago, and he goes, "Oh, it's really cool that they have your silhouette. Does everybody have their own silhouette?" And I went, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "The silhouette of the guy." And I said, "What?" He goes, I go, "That's not me." He goes, "He has a mohawk." And I said, "What?" Because it's a silhouette like this. And the more I looked at it, I was like, "Oh my God." So then I told everyone, they're like, "Dude, it is you." And I was like, "I don't think it's me. I think they just picked a random silhouette." But he was like, "Dude, like, he's like, if you line up the whole factory team and you just look at the headshots," he goes, "there's only one profile that fits in that headshot." I was like, I mean, okay, that's pretty funny. I was like, I'm not getting a check in the mail though, so I don't think it's me.
No. It's a Viking. It's the it's been an Army Painter thing for a while.
So funny, dude.
But it is great. That's cool. The next page that I had there is just another mention of Jeff Smith. We've got his celebration of life coming up this Sunday. There is a link down in the notes below if you're new Jeff or remember Jeff being on the show, but you can click on that and donate to sort of his final expenses. But on the right there is a conversion I'm doing. I'm working on. I've got it on. It's here.
Nice.
It's bigger. Using the cool Drogs the Sun Chomper model from Age of Sigmar.
That's a cool wolf.
It is a cool wolf. Very cool. And it's perfectly sized too. Just same size as the Thunderwolf Cavalry. And Patrick Keith is working on a head for us, a Jeff Smith head.
Nice. Are you gonna green stuff together a brush?
I think Patrick's also doing a brush for us.
Nice.
A hand holding a brush. So.
Just do a full-sized actual paintbrush.
Yeah.
It's tempting. Let me see if how it would work.
Have a little tiny Space Marine hand. Yes, I love it.
Yeah, we might have to reduce it slightly, but we'll see. But yeah, so doing that for Jeff. We got that coming up this week. Are you able to make it down on Sunday, Jake?
I can't. Like I was trying to figure out a way to do it, and like there's no way I can. My wife is kind of in crunch time for her job. She works in higher ed, and it's like kind of crunch time for the semester. And I was like, hey, like, would you be okay if I went away this weekend? She's like, where were you going? I was like, I was just gonna try to go to Baltimore. And the only way I can make it work is I could try to leave Sunday morning. Because what time is it?
It's at 2 on Sunday.
Like I could probably get there for 2. The problem is like I don't know if I have a way to. She has like an open house student thing that's all weekend, and she was like, well, who'd be around to like take care of the dogs and like do. And I was like, yeah, that's so. I don't know. I want to, but I just don't think I can make it happen.
Okay, no worries. Well, I will pass on your best wishes for sure. Moving on. Pigs.
These things are awesome.
So, Sean, did we mention it before the show or during the show? 10 years of Relicblade.
Yes.
So, when did you first introduce the Battle Pigs to Relicblade? Or they?
Yeah, I sculpted the Battle Pigs before I wrote and decided to make Relicblade. So they've been part of Relicblade from the very beginning. The very first conception of the rules included Battle Pigs, but I mean that was 2015, so it's not like ancient history. But Battle Pigs were part of it from the very beginning. I had my first Kickstarter was for a 2-player set that was 6 Battle Pigs against a little party of adventurers with a like cleric, druid, a knight, and a rogue. And so, Battle Pigs have been part of it from the beginning. And I've learned to sculpt. I've learned quite a bit sculpting since I started, and I learned to sculpt so I could make Relicblade.
Right.
So it's like I was doing all 2D art up until I wanted to make a miniatures game and realized like I could try, and I really like sculpting. I feel like it my imagination translates like directly to sculpting, whereas when I'm illustrating I'm always like translating, or I've used the word, it's maybe a little technical, but like I feel like I'm translating my imagination to 2D, but when I'm working in 3D I feel like I'm just transcribing like 1-to-1 my imagination directly to the creature. And so, but that model you had there is from 2020, so like 5 years old, and then the new plastics are fresh, updated sculpts of the same characters.
So with I think we talked about it a couple of years ago, but because we had you on almost 2 years ago exactly.
We talked about Cursebreaker. I remember now.
Yep. Initially, did you start sculpting digitally or traditionally?
Yeah, I do. I work in ZBrush. I see someone asked. I use ZBrush. It's the one I learned, and I tried some green stuff sculpting, but like really wrestling with the material, and I'm not like when I was leveling up and building my art skills, I put all of my skill points into speed. And and so green stuff is not fast. You have to wait for it to cure, and little mess up details stay on the model forever. And now the industry is the standard is ZBrush, I think, for the most part. But yeah, digital made it possible for me. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do traditional. But I do sculpt, and my workflow is specialized for miniatures. So whereas I think if you learn 3D modeling, a lot of it is broadly for computer-assisted design or for video games or for other applications, whereas I am very specifically working with the end goal being a model.
It's going to be
a 1 inch tall guy. Right. And so I think that I think my sculpting style is good for miniatures, and I like what I'm doing, and it's to my taste. And I think it's resonated with other people where they recognize the level of detail is designed to be painted and played with. So
I definitely I noticed. I was watching some videos last week, and actually no, just over the weekend. And John Ninjas did a video on talking about painting the battle pigs.
yes,
So that it was, I think his quote was something along the lines of a perfect amount of detail and open spaces and areas for the painter to put their own spin on it. But also,
and that's very intentional. And I think it also comes from my background in comic books, where when you're doing a character design for comics or animation, you're doing a design that needs to be drawn over and over and over and over and over again. And so you reduce certain complex details because it may be very cool to have like a complex bone dagger on your necromancer, or an interesting gem all over the place. But if you have to draw it on 60 panels, it's like a detail that maybe isn't so great. And so when I'm sculpting models, I try to make sure there's a couple of like iconic things to focus on, but just like one or two instead of too much. And I think people respond to it, because I know if I'm coloring page 50 of a comic book, I would be tired of painting and coloring the edge highlights on the golden armor. Whereas, and I think people will get that same experience when they're painting my models, where they'll be like, oh, this is the right amount of detail for me to like get through, enjoy the process, and not feel like I'm belaboring the point. So obviously I put a lot of thought into my miniature designs, but I also come by it a little bit naturally, where if I feel like I would get bored sculpting the detail, then I assume that you'd get bored painting the detail.
Right. Yeah.
And that may or may not be true, but that's where I'm coming from.
I think it's something like if you look like an Imperial Guardsman might have like 4 or 5 pouches.
Yes.
And then when you've got
too many pouches
of those guardsmen, all of a sudden you're painting 200, 250 pouches.
And I love pouches. I mean, I'm a big pouch guy. But
yeah, and that's assuming that's not a Rob Liefeld guardsman.
Yeah.
Right.
Just all pouches.
But one pouch. Why use 5 pouches when 1 pouch will do? No, that's good. Hank says more detail doesn't mean better models.
Yeah.
Character is always better. And Caitlin has joined us. Hi, Kate. Welcome.
Kate?
Fantastic. So the next slide that I'm going to bring up, because we're talking about before I bring up the slide, talking about the step of, I guess, deciding at what point, when did you decide that you're like, okay, I want to work in plastic. I want to work. I want to create plastic miniatures.
because
Plastic miniatures. Yeah.
Product design is complicated, and there are a lot of considerations. But I will say, I really think, metal has been good to me, obviously. The cost of metal has gone up a lot, and so that is a factor involved in this decision. Metal's also like very expensive, and the cost of shipping has gone up a lot. So that's a little bit of a consideration, but ultimately, I tend to set aside some of those practical considerations and try to make sure I'm making the like artistic project that I'll really be proud of and really like. So that's for me a big priority. And so the model kits, moving my bigger kits to hard plastic, is really specifically because I think in the miniature hobby, I think hard plastic kits are number one. I think they're the most fun to play with. They're most consistent for quality. miscasts are very uncommon. And also I don't want to take away like Playmo or plastic modeling as a hobby is something that some people, that's the main thing they like,
Yep.
nipping out the pieces of doing, like I think on some of the like tariff custom forms I had, they were characterized as 3D puzzles. And so that's, it's part of it. It is fun. Like, what do you want? It is fun. And then I was a little bit nervous because I know the fidelity of the rubber molds for metal models is extremely high, extremely good quality of detail. So I was concerned about losing detail because I've put together a lot of model kits from like, we'll say like smaller game companies, and felt like the detail was not sharp enough, not quite as what I would hope for. And I've been having to make so many compromises as an artist in order to have a business. And I was pretty nervous about it. And I will say that the plastic models I've made are the most accurate depictions of my art ever.
Oh, cool.
The level of detail is mind-blowing. It's better than 3D prints that I make molds from. Right. And then because you lose detail from the 3D print through the mold making process to the production mold process, and then mold degradation from there. You lose detail. And right now, I don't know if either of you have the Battle Plastic Pigs or Darkness on hand. I don't know. So like I said, we didn't even get to say hi at Adepticon, but like there are almost no mold lines.
Yeah, no. So
I think Ninjan even talked about it. But
Ben bought them. Ben bought them and brought them back, and he knew that we were going to have you on the show. Yeah. So he was like, "Do you want to check them out?" And I was like, "Oh, dude, I forgot you bought them." So he was letting me like go through them, and yeah, man, they're awesome. Like the level of detail on them is awesome. Like there's minimal mold lines. There's no flash. Like they were so nice that I was kind of like, who's molding these for him?
Yeah. And so, and so often I'm the one that knows what the original sculpt is like, and I know what's missing in the production. And so often I'm the one secretly harboring, oh man, that detail didn't come out, or oh man, the little bit of mold lines or the flash is a little bit in the wrong place, but it's just the cost of making stuff. And as you guys know, building and cleaning your models is skill expression in the hobby. Yeah. And so like I can't beat up myself that I can't like also make, assemble it perfectly for everyone and clean all the mold lines perfectly for everyone. Right. But I will say like these models I'm just so happy to have made something that wasn't a compromise at all and exceeded all expectations. And from the print quality of the book to the plastic models, everything about the new sets is just like a major win for me. I feel really, really happy. I'm very happy.
That is awesome. One of the things you said, correspondence before the show, is that you didn't didn't go through and sort of document the sculpting process.
Yeah.
That how much? So are these plastic minis fresh sculpts, or are they adjustments to older?
Oh well, all right. I was going to say they're all new. I think I'm trying to remember. I may have reused. No, it's all new.
Right.
From scratch, like from an orb in ZBrush to new pigs. And I'm very familiar, of course, with battle pig anatomy, and was able to create them. It has shifted a little bit. Like if you look at the older models, the features are a little bit sharper in the original designs. But that's a transition that happened probably like 2019, where I was starting to kind of get in the swing of things and get more comfortable bringing in the comic book style to my sculpts, and letting that be a bigger part of the Relicblade style because it matches the illustration. And so as the sets have come along, I pushed certain details. Like a lot of my humans have really big round ears because I think that's pretty fun to show these big round ears compared to the pointy ears for the elves, right? And so, yeah, a little bit more cartoony, big noses, stuff like that I love to put on my models.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Who's doing the sculpts for you? Like, I mean, I know you're doing the sculpts. Who's doing the printing for you?
Like for the production?
The actual plastic.
Yeah, I worked with Xfound Ashway, which is a Chinese company, game company, and I worked with Catherine Yao, and she was awesome to work with, and they deserve a lot of credit for working hard and also responding very their engineering team responding to my needs and my like artistic desires. So like like here's this image of the mold layout. There were places where the number of parts that go into assembling a model is something I'm picky about. I've assembled a lot of models and I get pretty annoyed if I have like a 16-part infantry guy. Especially in an army game. Like in Relicblade, you 4 to 6 models, like you could, but I would never be my preference to have a lot of parts. So like we worked together, went back and forth trying to make sure that we retained all of the detail while keeping the part counts and assembly pretty easy. Yeah. And the pigs have like, it's a little bit technical for mold making, but the snout and the tusks make a layer that kind of can't backfill and cast as one part very easily.
Right.
And so I was like, I guess we have to cast the heads as 2 parts, but instead the engineering team was able to get the angle just right and cast the heads, and gosh, I'm so happy. They're so good, and they really did a great job.
That's awesome. Super impressive when that's able to happen.
So as far as the sculpting process, one reason I didn't really get screenshots or screen recordings is I didn't really expect to. I kind of like rushed. I tried to do this as fast as I could, hoping it wouldn't be too big of an endeavor, and it ended up being the biggest thing I've ever done.
Right.
The truth is I was moving fast. And so I thought, oh, well, I'm not going to run a Kickstarter, so I won't like document every step of the way. But man, it kicked my ass trying to make, it kicked my butt trying to make this.
Dude,
and,
they're super cool. Like again, Ben was like, here, check it out. He's so funny. He has a whole tub full of like his like loot that he brought from Adepticon, and he's had a bunch of your stuff anyways. So he was like, oh, here's all the stuff I picked up, and then he was like, oh, I got these guys and I got these guys, and I was like, let me see the pigs. So we like cracked open the box, and the sprue is great. I mean, it's really nice quality. Like they're laid out super simple. Like there's a bunch of cool heads, and there's some fun options, but like the minis themselves are just really nice. Like I was surprised how nice the plastics were. Mm-hmm. And I was like crawling through the rule book and like the box, trying to be like, who is making these? And I was looking everywhere, and I was like, I'll have to ask Sean when I see him. And then he was like,
oh yeah, sorry. I could have credited. I mean, I want them to get as a artist, I'm like, oh, everyone deserves credit for their work. And I think the team that did this, amazing, wonderful to work with, guys. They do the models for Malifaux and Fireforge plastics. Okay. And Fireforge does like historical, so they've got like some, all kinds of stuff you'd use for Saga or whatever. But the truth is, I sculpt different. Relicblade is a different type of game, and so I didn't know exactly how it would come out because it's a mixed bag. I never really got into Malifaux. I have some Fireforge kits, but they're designed to be army builder kits. So I wasn't sure what to expect, but these models just really terrific. I love it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and this image shown here is while they were actually cutting the molds, and it's an aluminum mold instead of a steel mold. So it's a little bit cheaper than the old steel, but a little bit less durable. But I don't know how. I mean, I hope Relicblade is so successful that I could wear out a mold, but at that point I can, I'll get by.
So you really won't. Like the big thing is that I mean, we don't have to go down this rabbit hole, but like I've learned way more about like cutting molds and like printing plastics over the last 2 years than I've ever wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's wild. Like seeing all this stuff get done in real time is super cool. And again, like speaking to anybody watching this, like having had the sprue in my hand yesterday, they are really, really well done. Like they are super nice kits.
Yeah, and I think it's cool. It's like it's a development of the hobby that these expert machinists and engineers at these Chinese factories just really needed to learn what we want from the hobby. Because these aren't board game models. They aren't model airplanes. They aren't a lot of things. They aren't CAPTCHA or coin machine model toys. Like, they aren't all the different types of plastic things that they probably make at these factories. And so over the years, it's really significantly changed what they're making and the quality that they're offering. And it's really cool as an indie or small company to be able to access this expertise.
Yep, absolutely. I think it's kind of crazy. I'm sitting here looking at it and thinking about the process that you've gone through to get to this point. Is I've sculpted like 2 models in the past, and I have had them cast in resin by Chris Bora, who I always say did a wonderful job of replicating all of my flaws perfectly.
Nailed it.
Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, well, look at this thing doesn't look right. Oh, that's because it's not right on the original sculpt. Hooray, good one, Dave. But at no point could I imagine like contacting a factory to say, hey, here's something that I want to do. Let's go through this whole process to, as you say, engineer like the angles correctly to make the faces work.
Yeah. And that's one thing that, like, because realistically, I think I could have switched to plastic earlier in my in the history of Relicblade, but that engineering step is so inaccessible for me.
Yeah.
It's a big step. It's a huge step to switch. So,
and so trusting the engineering team at XFound and then giving them a little bit of feedback here and there was a little bit nerve-wracking for me, but yeah, they did a great work, and I'm really, really pleased. I'm happy.
So my partner Ben, your super fan, is in the chat. He said, "quote I had them in my hand and then assembled in the shop because my business partner bought them and built them yesterday." And he goes, "Sean rules, Relicblade rules. Plastic Lone Guard one day."
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool to have a lot of sets in plastic. There are realities that it's kind of like maybe a 10-year plan that I'll get stuff, but I think Lone Guard's probably a little bit high on the remastered list because those models are old, like over, those are 10-year-old sculpts, and it would be wonderful to produce them. But we'll see what happens. I need my business to grow, and I need my physical space to grow right. So that I can have, because right now, like I mentioned, I just mowed my lawn, so maybe my neighbors will be happier with me, but I also have in my driveway multiple pallets of plastic frames just sitting out with tarps. So I'm sure if they're the kind of neighbors that like tidiness, I'm not very popular right now.
Yeah, it's a good thing you don't have an HOA. Those said, Archon mentioned that when they began, aluminum was cheaper but didn't last as long as steel, So they just found a harder grade of aluminum, which has not had any issues.
Yeah. So the part of the issue is that this is a technology that's been around basically since the 50s, right? This is injection molding. So originally the whole idea is that you needed to have a metal master, and a lot of this came from like the automotive industry is kind of like where it kind of got the most like mass usage. So it's like, we're going to make the dashboard for your 1958, Ford, whatever. And it was like, okay, cool. So instead of us just like assembling all these, you had an engineer make a mold, and then you had to use a CNC machine to basically bore out the metal model. And then the idea is the two halves, like you see here, get clamped together. And then there's an industrial injection machine that has a massive amount of PSI that is squirting like basically liquid plastic, like super hot liquid plastic into the mold. And then the pressure gets it in everywhere. And then you take it out, and then it has to cool off. And then they basically pop the thing open and they pop out the mold, and it's automated. The idea is that this is just automated. It's routinely making it's just making dashboards, or it's making, air conditioner vents or whatever. It's just popping out pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So the problem is that when you go to something like making miniatures, obviously, if I'm making like one of Sean's battle pigs, it does not need to have the same amount of durometer, which is like how hard the plastic is. It doesn't need to have the same level of durometer that like a dashboard does, because it's not going to get beat on by the sun and have people throw stuff up there. And you know what I mean? Like it's a different level of wear and tear. The problem is that the machines themselves don't have like a low setting. Like you can't be like, oh, I just don't need as much plastic. It's less plastic. It's finer details. Like we can do lower pressure. So you still need those giant blocks. And that's the most expensive part of the plastic printing process. It's actually getting the first mold made. And aluminum, yes, it's cheaper than the steel. It's still expensive. Mm-hmm. So even though, like to his point with Archon, even though the aluminum is like less durable, it's okay, because like again, you're like the newer machines, you can get smaller machines that have less of an injection or less PSI. So it's not going to stress out and bend or distort. And that's what they're talking about when it gets old. Like over time, you can make something like, I think every time you see him pull out one of those things, that's called a push. Like it pushes plastic once. So that's one push. Then he'll do a second one. Then he'll do a third one. So I think a steel mold is supposed to be rated for like 10,000 pushes or something like that, or 60,000 pushes.
Yeah.
Whereas an aluminum one is probably rated for like 8,000. You know what I mean? And to Sean's point, it would be super cool if Sean sold, 8,000.
Yeah. I'd be happy to replace it. If I wear it out, then I'll be stoked to replace
it. But realistically,
that's not my risk.
But realistically, it probably won't get burnt out, because again, these guys are using a different machine that is detail oriented, so it's not pushing at the same PSI as one of these old 1950s. And you can still get those old like push plastic machines, like but it's just the pressure is so high. That's why it warps and starts to wear out the mold itself.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk about plastics.
That's interesting. Yeah. What do I know? I just sculpt toys. Yeah, that video is cool. That was one that Catherine sent me of the actual casting day.
That's super cool, though.
Definitely cool. Scott says, this is a huge step, Sean. You went from one-man band to having some good helpers and an international production line. That's huge. I hope you've had a moment to reflect and raise a glass. Well done.
For sure, man.
I'm trying. Yeah, it was exciting. It's been a big. I mean, I knew it'd be a big step, but I didn't realize how much it would like take out of me, like emotionally and creatively, to like really produce it. But it's a big step and very exciting.
And
Hank can be psyched if you were his neighbor.
Yeah. But
like here you can see the red on the image. That's where we were like adding new connections to try and make sure it cast clean over the course of the run.
Right.
And but like in general, I had a dozen little notes and put it together in a PDF for them, and they were able to run through it. Like, I mean, I've worked with a lot of companies where it's there's a lot of communication friction, and so I had concerns working with a company that speaks a very different language than me, but obviously their reps speak English, and we're able to communicate with the engineers. It was great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's excellent.
Yeah, so like next year, maybe you pay for Ben's flight and like, you can pay him in Battle Pigs. Like,
Excellent. And so,
yeah, I looked through this yesterday too. Really cool, really laid out well. A lot of cool information, great photos.
Yeah, that was another fun thing, being able to, because plastic production takes longer than metal production. I was able to get Malev to do the studio paint jobs before everything was going to be ready. And so I was able to actually have like product photography in the book and on the packaging and all of that cool stuff. And then it's sort of a give a mouse the cookie sort of thing, where if you ask me what I would want to do and you give me permission, then I ended up writing this whole book to go with the set, because Relicblade is very adventure forward and character driven, and it's different than a box set of soldiers. And so I really wanted to be able to create like basically this army book that goes with it, and then like a deck of cards that comes with it, and then your actual like hard plastic figures. So this new adversary character set is replacing the like metal faction set, is what it was called. And being able to like kind of grow it into world building expression that art forward.
yeah.
Are the skeletons new also in plastic?
Yeah. So I did 2 new sets, the Battle Pigs and Bone and Darkness, and those are remasters of existing sets, but then but with a new book and updated rules and stuff. So, and new art and all that.
Excellent.
So,
I just want to go back to that for a second. This is very much for me. It's like, yeah, it wasn't just a sprue chucked in a box or in a bag with a little header card on it or whatever. Something that you're going to be able to pop into a box that you're shipping to somebody anywhere around the world. It's in this. It's a great, fantastic product as a whole. There's just so much depth to it.
Yeah, and I think it remains specifically a Relicblade thing, because you kind of, I don't know, I can imagine someone hearing that Battle Pigs are going to be plastic and think of like a box of Frostgrave figures and think, oh great, I'll build an army of pigs now. But ultimately it's still Relicblade. Like, it's very much driven toward this specific game, a specific art, specific rules and stuff. So it's a little bit.
You are welcome to buy a bunch of boxes of Battle Pigs.
Yeah, it's just not going to be very cheap, because it's sort of like buying a whole bunch of Marvel Crisis Protocol boxes and making an army of Wolverines. So, which can happen, I guess, but it's different than thinking about building a box of Vikings or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. But fantastic.
They're super cool.
I'm glad that you stuck to that as part of your creative creation process.
So the other guys are metal though, right? Like the Vermin Mouth and the Hellbore of Thog, like those are still.
Yeah, and I do have a new release. He's called the Steel Viper. He's a martial artist character, and he's new and in metal. So the single character packs are still metal.
Yeah.
And obviously the existing range is all metal. So I'm not phasing out metal entirely. I mean, when I got into the hobby, you'd buy a box of orcs or goblins in plastic, but if you wanted a squig herder or a fanatic, they'd be in metal. And that didn't bug me at all. So so that's sort of where I'm at with Relicblade.
Yeah. So just quickly, Josh asks, I got home late, so this might have been answered. What was the crystallizing moment that said Relicblade is sustainable enough to invest in plastic tooling?
It's probably been what really happened.
Yeah,
I didn't have the logistics bandwidth to find a plastics manufacturer. And Games Workshop generously laid off my friend who was working there doing product design. And so he went and contacted a whole bunch of manufacturers and got quotes for me and did like the product design work of finding manufacturers, getting samples. You know, I only really reached out to manufacturers that I liked their work in the first place. So it's a pretty strict list. There aren't a ton in the world. And ultimately that was a big part of it, was just having the volunteer help from a friend that was ready to help me get over this production step. Because I don't really have the bandwidth to reach out to tons of suppliers or do a lot of important work that would be good for the business. Like, you know, so
things as well.
that was a big part of it. And then he immediately got hired back, but into Games Workshop. And so it was just this little interim where we finally got to work together for 3 months. And
I like how it's like James Workshop was like, oh, anything for you, Sean, and they fired your friend for like,
oh, you need him? I got you.
You're out.
I will say, like, Sean, something I don't think you get enough credit for, and I want to make sure that you get your flowers for this because this is awesome. There are so many companies that we know, and I'm not going to mention them, but there are so many where it's like there's an artistic type who is the driving force behind the company, which makes sense. But then they're also making all of the business decisions, and they're the ones that are tracking down the business stuff that you're talking about. And the reason why stuff tends to go pear-shaped is because they don't know what they're doing. So I like that you were like, I don't know how to do that. My friend does. He said he'd do it. And you're like, oh, it worked out great. I'm just the creative. I'm going to make cool pigs. He's going to figure out a way that I get them and have them in a box. Like that is so smart on your part to take advantage of someone who has the skill set to do the thing that you're like, I don't want to do that. I'm not good at that. This person is good at that. Like, do that for me, please. Like, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Like, the roles.
It was not easy, you know, it was not easy to make this transition and get all of the communication and legwork and finding vendors for everything. But we did it. Yeah. And the results are really, it's very exciting. I hope it's inspiring to other model makers and other game makers at my scale. But yeah, it was a huge undertaking. Yeah. And I'm hoping I can keep doing it.
I think there's an element there, like when you're talking about not only the bandwidth, there's the language of creating plastic miniatures. There's a lot of information that you need to know or have to be able to go and talk to somebody about that. Talk to somebody who does it every day. So part of that is learning what that language is, and having that assistance from your friend helps ease your way through that, learning that language. You've learned that language now through your correspondence with the manufacturer. So you're in a better spot now as well to be able to go, okay, next time around it's this, and this.
Yeah, having those connections has been really good. And the fact that they didn't mess up. so I don't have to find new people.
So, but no, definitely cool. With the battle pigs and the bones and darkness, how much variation? Obviously, axe pig or shield pig here. That's what.
Yes. Pretty limited. The pigs have some alternate bits, but not a ton. These are my first plastic kits, and it's hard to know exactly how much will fit on a frame, right? Sure. So I can imagine a world where you're like, oh, do more alternate heads or more accessory bits or more shoulder pads or more shield styles. But can it fit on the frame? Will it work? You know, so I tried to be more conservative about exactly what I wanted so that I could get what I wanted for sure done right, rather than more stuff done to like maybe a lower standard. Right. So there aren't a ton of build options, but I do think that conversions with plastic miniatures are like really easy. So for example here, you can see the central picture is of that character standing, and he's got either a mace or a big axe. And all you'd have to do to have the mace slung over the shoulder is cut the wristband
Right.
and glue it back together.
Yeah.
And if you wanted the big axe, to have a shorter handle, you could cut out a little bit of the handle. If you could cut off the axe head and put the mace on it, so he has a long club. All of those things are so easy in plastic, whereas in metal it can be trickier because you got to like really pin stuff. And anyway, so all that to say, there aren't a ton of variation options. I added some for battle pigs, but in general, like for the future of Relicblade, most of the characters are more like MCP characters, like like a hero rather than an army builder type thing. So yeah, we'll see what I can do. I'd love to add more options or treasure tokens or whatever I can fit on a frame as I make stuff. But as it stands, these are my first kits, and I wanted to do some of the stuff that you can do in plastic, but
yeah, no, that's cool. Cal, poor old child in the chat, is making a strong case for single plastic sprues for pigs. He wants to build a whole army of them, I think. But moving on. There's a lovely close up of
yeah. So here you can see a little bit of the casting behind the tusk that's closest to us. You can see that it drafts back into the face a little bit. But like that amount of quote unquote loss of detail, whereas we have friggin' eyelids, guys. We've got eyelids, we've got teeth, we've got nostrils, we got wrinkles, we got there's just so much to love. And this is like, I mean, you can see my fingerprint there. This is a very small, we're zoomed in to see like the and then also you almost can't even see the seam where the head is glued to the body. It's very subtle, so the fit on everything's super tight. And I mean, I don't know how interesting it is to hear me be like, wow guys, look, it's cool.
So you think I should move on? What do we got next? There we go.
Yeah. Here's another character, and kind of fun to be able to do a little bit more of a dynamic pose, him jumping up, because
I like how they have the Ninja Turtles hands.
Mm-hmm.
They get the wristbands and everything.
Yeah. That was actually a little bit of a part of my hope to make converting easier.
Right.
Was to like kind of indicate this is where you cut the model.
You get a break. It's a natural break, so it's easy.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's super cool.
So creating plastics was really exciting. I actually have I have plans to do a Kickstarter this summer for a 2-player box set in plastic.
Cool.
But part of my journey of like trying to find the best supplier, I've been working with multiple companies. And so this next set I'm working with Archon on the plastics for. And the truth is Archon's way more expensive and has way higher minimum order numbers. And but I also own a lot of Archon kits and I trust their quality. So we'll see exactly how it pans out for the Kickstarter and everything. But I have those frames in production now, and they're amazing too. So we got very exciting developments for Relicblade.
Awesome. I know Mark Maxey asked in the chat a while back what the next plastic set would be, but I didn't want to jump in. Didn't want to throw that forward because it was way too early in the conversation for that.
Yeah. It's
what we have.
Yeah. I'm trying to make stuff. I'm trying to make it happen and keep up with the future of Relicblade. And I really think 2-player box sets are so fun. And so that's one thing I'm excited about.
Cool. Excellent. What do we have next? Here we go. So you mentioned, Bone and Darkness.
Yeah. Yeah, so I remastered 2 sets, and they're like 2 of my most popular sets. And this is kind of like a transitional thing before I do the 2-player set to try and kind of revisit some stuff and really grow also my experience, I guess, because like I said, these are my first plastic kits, and I felt like there was plenty for me to learn as a sculptor. But the results have been really wonderful because like I think I mentioned, there's a lot of compromise you go through as from your artistic vision, and then you got to take off that hat and put on your businessman hat and say, no, we're not going to add 5 pages to this book. That's too expensive. Or or like my rule book used to be hardcover, but that adds so much weight that I was pretty much giving them away for free because it would make shipping so much more expensive that it would cost an extra $20 to ship a hardcover book and a softcover book. So,
excellent. And I think next up, you sent me a whole bunch of photos.
Oh yeah, you don't have to share them. I'll just like
I put them all in. But,
yeah, product photography is very fun, and it's not easy.
Exactly.
But it really brings out like the world. Like, and I got a FDM printer. I've been like collecting cool terrain sets. So this terrain set's from Dark Fantastic Mills.
Okay.
And really fun fantasy terrain, and yeah, just so fun. These are Malev's paint jobs. Of course, he's my studio painter.
Yeah, no, they look fantastic.
These are the alternate poses. So when you build the Battle Pig set, there's like the main 5 guys, and then 3 of them can be built with alternate sets to give different weapon loadouts.
Cool. Mark has asked, what's the projected date for the new Kickstarter?
Yeah, I have a lot of work to do. So assuming I'm healthy and maybe July, I could run the Kickstarter and then deliver December, probably not Christmas.
No.
Just deliver next Adepticon.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
January, March. Yeah. Yeah. Getting it out there just before Adepticon is always a great.
Yeah, I think it's that was part of this project, was like really rushing.
Yeah.
Because Lunar New Year is a little bit before, so you gotta finish everything before Lunar New Year.
Yeah.
So that things can be on the boat while everyone takes a month off to hang out with family.
Yeah. But if you're producing in Poland, you might not have that.
Yeah, I'll still probably I'll be printing books in in China.
Right. Cool.
Yeah, I printed my books and packaging and cards with Long Pack, and they're awesome. I mean, what can be said? So yeah. Oh, here's a battle scene. We've got Lone Guard versus Battle Pigs out on the frontiers. That terrain is from Dark Realms Forge.
Okay.
And they do like a lot of cool kind of Osgiliath, Minas Tirith kind of inspired ruins.
Yeah. It does look cool.
They're not called that because they don't want to get sued.
That would be the same company for the ruins here as well?
Yes, that tree is Dark Fantastic. But yeah, that's the 5 characters in the Darkness set. We've got an archer and a close combat kind of hybrid evil sorcerers, a big bone construct, and 2 skittering bone stalkers is what they're called. But really fun to revisit those sculpts and give them a little bit more character and life. The bone stalkers are like very, very fast and agile creatures rules wise. And so in the new versions being plastic, I was able to do those like leaping, lightweight poses, where in metal it'd be a little bit risky to do that. I do it sometimes anyways, but if you drop one of those models, it could get messed up. But in plastic, hell, just throw them in a shoebox, see what happens. That bone construct, the big guy in the middle, that was another fun thing I did, where the rib cages are hollow inside, so they've got like kind of a cool look to them.
Nice.
Yeah, just really, it's just me playing and having fun with the material, being able to do stuff that I couldn't do before.
Yeah, that's great. Originally the Bone and Darkness had four. You had 4 metal models, right?
Yes. Yeah. The
5.
bow versus maul was just an alternate bit for the same skull-faced body.
Excellent. No, very cool. Scott says, how about a box of about 40 giblins? Is that giblins? Or
yeah.
Giblins. There we go. Excellent. And again,
Oh yeah, another cool scene of some good guys beset by bad guys.
Yep.
That happens when you're going through Gothic ruins.
Yep.
Oh look, another terrain maker I can shout out. What is his name? It's not Dark something. Gosh dang it. I would love to. This guy makes really great terrain.
Yeah. Fantastic.
He mostly does 40K stuff though.
Okay.
Which 40K is no good. Relicblade is good.
Yeah. Awesome. And here we go. This might be the last one, I think. So.
Yes. Tree Men versus Darkness now.
Excellent. I painted up. I think I painted up one of these guys, and in the previous shots, one of the gnomes.
Mm-hmm.
And this for Joey Maguire. They painted a bunch of stuff in the past for him.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's been really cool to see the Relicblade world grow one step at a time. Because over 10 years, I always feel like it's growing so slow. Because I've got way more ideas than I have time and money to make it.
Yeah.
And so it's so wonderful to be able to look at it and see, fresh sculpts of characters that I've grown to love over the past 10 years standing next to like these cool tree folk and new sculpts of like cool adventurers of all kind. So fun. That's so fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. What do we have next? Oh, also, I did notice that yesterday, Ash, Guerrilla Adventure Games, popped up the Relicblade Battle Pigs versus Bones and Darkness.
Yes. Very cool. Wonderful to have Ash make a video about it, because back in, when I started, he started like around the same time.
Yeah.
And I emailed him and I was like, hey, I'm a dad of little kid trying to make it work, get by. And he's like, oh, me too. And we had some camaraderie, and over the years, we've gotten to work together on stuff like Blaster. Did that together, and it's so fun to see him make a YouTube video and play some Relicblade again.
Yep, that was definitely cool. In the notes down below, not only is there a link to the Relicblade site, so relicblade.com, there's also a link to the Metal King Studio YouTube channel.
Yeah,
where you can go and check out a whole bunch of cool videos that Sean has made, including I think about a month ago you had Relic Buds. We post our podcast there. It's an audio newsletter, and also like Malev and I just will talk endlessly. So that's what Relic Buds is. And then I also I have videos of sculpting where I talk about my like creative process, and that's been pretty fun. Like I even ran into some younger sculptors who learned by watching my YouTube videos, which is like, if you ever want to feel old. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's so great. It's wonderful because my
like I said, I don't have a ton of bandwidth to do everything that I'd like to do, but every once in a while being able to get out a YouTube video and then have years later people have it been meaningful to at least even a couple of people is really terrific.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Absolutely awesome. And there's also a link to Ash's channel, so you can go and check out some of the Relicblade battle reports that he's done. I think he has a review of the battle picks too.
Yeah, there are a couple of good unboxing videos. I made one. Also, there's that cool Ninjon video that he just did where he like goes into a lot of detail painting a battle pig. So
definitely,
and using kind of a fun technique where he approaches laying out his palette more like how a normal traditional artist would. So.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a cool one. Awesome. So, John, how do you think things are going to go? I think before the show we talked a little bit about your presence, and the presence of Relicblade and Sludge and that kind of thing in Europe and UK.
Yeah, metal models have gotten very expensive to make. And so distribution has always been kind of difficult for me because I don't manufacture my own metals. I work with Fortress Figures to do that. And so like the cost of my metals is higher than maybe, I'm assuming, guys that are casting their own models. But anyways, I think distribution has been really difficult for me because of metal. And I do hope that these plastics will make distribution a possibility. But at this point, I only have two sets of guys in plastic. So that doesn't really like launch a game store to be like, oh yeah, I'm excited to have two products that aren't even the main product for a game that people may or may not want. So I'm hoping, I think this is my vision. Imagine with me, summer, do a Kickstarter. I can afford to make it. We do a 2-player box set. And then generally my Kickstarters reach people who are just already my fan base, the like 800 people that like Relicblade. My hope is that if I can make that introductory set in plastic, a 2-player set and a rule book isn't too crazy for a game store to carry. I mean, Jake, what do you think?
No, I think 2 players is the way to go. A lot of it's going to depend on, and this is stuff we could talk about offline, but wholesale, things like that. Like those are questions that stores are going to ask you. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of just like, is a product going to work? Yeah, that's the way to do it.
So with in plastic, hopefully I can do it. With working with Archon, I'll have like a lot more than I feel like I can move on my own anyways. So I'm hoping, that's the thing, is like, I'm not necessarily 100% ready to do distribution now because I'm quite limited in production capacity because of metal, because of a lot of unfun things. But the fun thing is I am trying to make it more accessible. Right. Whether a game group is gonna go crazy because I have like 1 2-player set with 8 models in it, that's another question. But it's one step at a time. It's always, Relicblade's always been a one step at a time thing. Yeah. And that served me well because 10 years later, I'm still making it and still having a ton of fun, and people are still having fun playing it. So 2 thumbs up. I'm hoping the future is bright.
Oh, fantastic.
Seems like.
I think it will be. So no, I'm excited that we get to talk to you at this point about it and then see how you build that. Next few years. But
I hope. I mean, I have high hopes, of course. I'm not going to give up yet.
No, don't. Please don't. Fantastic. Cool. Just looking quickly at the chat. K Cordy 52 said that our community college instructors have used your sculpting videos to help teach simulation and game design program.
Oh, really? That's cool. Cute. I should probably make them better then.
Get them to get in touch with Sean directly
Yeah,
and
maybe.
visit. And
My brother does professional video, and it's always so embarrassing because I'll like post a video, and he's like, "You should have just send it to me." And I'll like fix the audio, and I'm like, if I sent it to you, I'd be too embarrassed. It's better to just post it.
do it.
Bad, and then
Just send Sean a cool community college hoodie, like from your community college. Like, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Fantastic. Negrom54 said, buy us a case of beer and we'll come over to help packing.
I do like beer.
Excellent.
What I need now is people to like play a lot of Relicblade
Right.
with me.
Sean has suggested, Scott has suggested, I'd love a bring a buddy option for the Kickstarter where I can add on a second rule book so I can split the box and give rules and a squad to a dude.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
If I add on a second. Oh, yeah.
Like we sell,
possible.
We sell so many. Like when the 11th edition box drops in like beginning of June, I'll have so many people that'll order a box and a rule book, and it's because they're going to split it. It's like, Sean, here's your rule book, here's your orcs. I'm going to keep my Space Marines. Here's my rule book. Like that happens.
Cool. That's good insight. Yeah, that's meaningful.
Yep, absolutely. Fantastic. Josh says, yes, no, it's a 6x retail versus production at minimum. Indies are hard pressed to find distribution, being organically limited to boutique levels. DTC is both rewarding and frustrating.
I don't know what DTC.
Direct to consumer.
Oh, right. Yeah, and the truth is, like, I speaking of dropping the word boutique, I do think about what I want for my career.
Right.
And I think about what I want for my legacy and my artistic expression. And I think about how it is an option for me to take my business, Metal King Studio, and buy space, get talent here, and grow the business, even a small business, say 10 people. And have a like real go at it and to do that. And that's an option for Relicblade. But I also draw in every rule book that people order from me.
Yeah.
A personalized sketch for each person that buys from me. And that's something I love, being very boutique. And so it's true that like I'm interested in distribution as insofar as more people can enjoy Relicblade, but I'm more interested in finding ways to support game stores, because I feel like game stores are such an important part of community and friendship.
He's just sweet talking me now. That's
no, I'm being serious. It says right on here that like in the book, the main reason we play games together instead of on the computer single player isn't because they're better games. Like I've been playing Elden Ring again. I've got like 400 hours in Elden Ring, and it's perfect. Like what more could you ask for? And the truth is, what you can ask for is not being on a computer.
Yep.
Being at a game store with your friends.
Yep.
Being among your people. Being sweet to people who come in off the street and are interested in the hobby, and showing them, passing on skills and that fun. So I think when I think about Relicblade in distribution, what I really want is a way for game stores to profit from the friendship that they are also bringing to the world. And so that's the kind of partnership I'm looking for. And right now I do direct between me and stores.
Yeah.
But I'm also very limited in time. So I get an order from a guy and then I email him back, and then it's a little bit complicated, but that's my hope, I guess, is to make it so that game stores can survive too, because it's a lot of pressure.
Well, look, and I think that's the right mentality. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a store owner. I think that you're absolutely right. I think that most people who play miniature games didn't stumble into them online. Like it's a friend of a friend, or like I went into a store because I needed a new D&D book, and I saw these guys playing with plastic toy soldiers, and I was like, what is this? Or I was playing Magic at my local store and I saw guys playing a tank game and it's like, oh, I like tanks. So I think that is absolutely the lifeblood of the game. And I think even companies like Trench Crusade understand that the whole reason that they're switching to plastics is that they want to make sure that they have a way to support and be valued in a store. And it makes sense. If your game is all STLs and like, you know, free digital downloads of the rulebook, it's like, why do I need to dedicate any time or space to it in my store? There's no reason for it. So
and it's a little complicated because a big part of the hobby is private. Sitting by yourself painting. I don't know what kind of a pervert would do that in public. Painting models around people.
I only paint social. But I
this exhibitionist over here, Dave's got all of his gray just out for the world to see. But but I think, you know, I think we need more spaces for friendship to happen. I make games to facilitate friendship, and you know, when Relicblade started, I had to not worry about that because the game wasn't big enough to support a game group. Like a game group needs more than 2 factions. That's one concern I have about StarCraft. You know, that's not quite enough factions, or a Star Wars game that's not quite enough expressive factions. But like Relicblade's got like friggin' 13 different factions. Like that's too many. But now it is something I can start thinking about. Like, oh, now it can exist in a store where you do have players exploring all these different themes and playing together. So anyways, it's complicated, but I'm hoping that I'm
loving your Boston Terrier over your shoulder.
It's just stretching. It's very loud.
I love it.
Excellent. Cool. Well, Sean, it is that time of the show where we take a look at minis from our community, from our Facebook.
Right. Do you want me to be really hard and critique them?
Yeah, 100%. Be just like dunk on them.
Yeah, this is the time when it's your opportunity just to be a really terrible person to a whole bunch of people that you don't know.
That's my whole brand.
Nice. That's what I've been feeling. I've been getting that from you. So awesome. Let's jump in and have a look. So yes, these are from our Facebook group, Build Paint Play Community. If you'd like to join, head to Facebook, find Build Paint Play Community, click the join group, and somebody will let you in. I think anybody who's already a member can let new members in, which is all good. First up, we've got this piece by Adam Weller.
Dude, these colors are so good.
This is the guy from Warhammer Quest Darkwater.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, Adam's fantastic color choices here. Beautiful lighting and sort of volumetrics.
Like they're all good. Like the purples are so good, the greens are so good.
Yeah.
Guys, this is it. Grimdark is dead.
Yep. It's all
Grimdark is dead to me. This is how I want to see my models painted. It's just all color all the time.
Yeah. Yep. It's really fantastic. And beautiful. Cal says, so clean looking too. Caitlin says, gorgeous. And Malo says, the colors on that are mind boggling. I think they are, though. It's the yellow, green, orange, red through the skin, fading into that purple. There's just so much going on in the smaller area.
Heresy. Grimdark is dead, all caps.
Fantastic. Hi, Heresy. Excellent. Next up, fantastic work there, Adam. Keep it up.
It's amazing.
Brendan Bell.
Nice.
Brendan Bell's been messing around with his World Eaters. He's got a big collection of World Eaters spanning a number of different editions and collections. But he's been bringing some of his squads up from 6 models to 10 models and having some fun with freehands on the shoulder pads.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
They're fast attacks.
What's that?
Or is that the X? Is that fast attack?
That's fast attack. They're a fast attack.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. But looking great there, Brendan.
That white is so clean.
I've never painted a white model that I was satisfied with.
I've gotten pretty good at white.
Brag about it.
Well, people like I tell same thing with yellow. People like outsmart themselves. They're like, oh, it's way harder. I'm like, it's like any other color. You just have to layer it up. Like
I just start with the white primer and then shade back from there. I don't try to take anything up to white anymore. But yeah, they're looking great there, Brendan. Very cool. And Brendan's also doing he's preparing for our Trench Crusade campaign that he's going to be running for a local group.
Nice.
Doing a lot of
I got to play some I mentioned earlier. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
You gotta like shoot guys. Love it.
Yeah, I think the system itself is pretty straightforward, which is nice. So there's not a lot of thinking you have to do through it. I say that having lost most of my games, but anyway, having fun with friends though. Next up, Caitlin. Caitlin's been working on the her pledge for the for Games Workshop's Million Miniature March.
Caitlin has pledged to paint 1 million minis.
Yep. So she's up to 420 so far.
That's an auspicious number.
Nice.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
That's
Nick.
California guy.
Yep, there we go. But yeah, coming along really nicely.
Scions on the left, and then some epic scale. Were those Arbus lifters? I think
Arbus sliders. Yeah, just looking great. I'm loving the color scheme on your scions there. Looking cool. Milo says 420, blaze it. Fantastic. But yeah, looking awesome. 1K. Next up, Chris Gorka.
Nice. This is the new Imperial Officer kit. Like you can do a couple different like swaps and stuff there. It's pretty cool. You can customize them.
Yep.
Those look way cool.
They look good. Yeah, nice work there, Chris.
Look at that white. There you go.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say something. I didn't want to embarrass myself.
I'm sure that Chris has approached that the same way that I do. It's like there's a spray from underneath, there's a spray from on top. Paint everything else. Leave the white there. But yeah, looking great.
I do really like the edge highlight color on the black armor, though.
Right.
With the like slightly cool. Yeah, that's cool.
So that it's like a bluish green.
Yeah, it's a good choice, I think.
Like exaggerated bluish green. Yeah, looking really cool. Nice one, Chris. Looking great. Next up, Dave Hummel has been working on his Tiberos the Red Wake conversion for his Shadowhawks.
Very slick.
So he's using the Saturnine Terminator Praetor model.
Yeah.
From the Horus Heresy set.
Those are Horus Heresy chain bayonets on the underside of his gauntlets.
Yep.
And then I think those are the Lightning Claw. I don't remember what those are from. Those aren't the regular ones. Those are from something else.
I'm trying to be able to let us know. But in the group, there are some photos of the sort of the upper torso where he's put some fantastic, basically wrapped wings around the
yeah, it's the jetpack. It's the jetpack assembly from the Blood Angels chaplain. With the wings.
Is this like a named character from the Horus Heresy? Or
no, Tiberos the Red Wake is the chapter master of the Carcharodons, and he's a named character in a bunch of the fiction and stuff. And he had rules. He was released as a Forge World character. And like he's cool, but the problem is that he's an original Terminator, so he's teeny tiny by today's standards. So everybody's making like big versions of him, and there's been a bunch of people that have used the Saturnine kit to like really upscale him.
Sweet.
So yeah, just having a lot of fun there.
He big.
Yep. Nice one, Dave. Looking great. I've got a few things that Dave Taylor's been working on.
Nice.
So I think last week I showed the guy at the top there, finished him. That's using the volume 4 of the John Blanche masterclass set. So the warm tones.
Yeah.
And the Vampire Noble down below is using the volume 3, the cool tones set.
Oh, that's fun. Nice work.
It's also the so this first model I painted up. I'm going to be doing a series of articles on the Army Painter blog. So I've sent off all the photos, the step-by-step photos I took, and the text that I've written for it. Set those off to Tyler, and whenever that comes to fruition, we'll make note of that. But
Nice.
It'll be fun. I'll be doing a bunch of different sort of grim darkish.
Those are 54 mil, is that right?
Say again.
What scale are those?
54 mil. Yeah.
So because they look like, they look like they've got a lot of detail, obviously, compared to a 28 mil. How did you find painting the big guys?
Talking before about having detail on the model and how many you have to paint, that kind of thing. I think because each of these, I'm not painting them as a batch. Just painting each one individually. Normally, I would be painting like 4 or 5 models at a time. Painting them individually, the detail made sense, I guess.
I think it also suits the John Blanche illustration style, where you can be very expressive, where the sculpted detail will do the work of the folds of fabric and the type of materials. Because that's sort of what I'm getting from the look of his cracked leather bicorn or whatever his hat. It's very cool, and then it gave you a chance to mess around with your brushwork.
Yeah, exactly. I know that on the miniature, that's nice and smooth. But yeah, being able to put those little extra details to give it that cracked leather feel. I think in the art, John's original concept for this, he has a red bicorn, so it would be a fabric rather than a felt bicorn rather than a leather. But it has been a lot of fun to sort of play around with these. I went for a similar kind of leather look on his little stump down here. So with the leather case going there, but yeah, definitely a lot of fun. The Malev asks if these are Paul Hicks sculpts. The one on the top is Paul Hicks. Down the bottom is Patrick Masson. So
Patrick Masson is one of my favorite sculptors. Holy moly!
Yeah.
That guy,
incredible work.
I back in the olden days, I got some models from some Dark Age models. You remember that sci-fi game?
Yep.
And
yes, Dave does.
his sculpts for that game, they were like fine art. It was crazy.
Yep.
Anyways, he is a fine art sculptor, so whatever.
Yep. No,
I make toys.
Well, you're making art. Your expression of your art is different to Patrick's, but it's both impressive for sure. But
that guy should stay away from duels.
Which one?
He's lost a leg. He's lost a hand.
And never give up.
He's lost a nose as well, but you can't.
Assuming he has a terrible face scar.
Yeah. But
the other guy's literally bleeding though, so
he's a vampire though.
Oh, yeah, the one down the road is a vampire. That blood's from a recent feast, I'm sure. But having a lot of fun with those. I'm also doing some digital kit bashing, a little bit more digital kit bashing with some of the Trench Crusade models. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, that poor line of Jabir, that thing looks pissed.
Yeah, that's fun to have that.
Yeah. So this is the for my court of the Seven-Headed Serpent, the Envy sin. So I talked this through with Brendan Bell, who's in the chat, and we settled on like covetous, so they're coveting power. So there's a lot of different elements that I'll have throughout this warband. But
Marshall says, "Looks great, Dave. I can't wait to kill it."
I'm sure he will. The Praetor here, there's an ability that it can have called Envious Eyes, which allows you to buy some kit from other warbands.
Like he's got the machine. He's got the machine armor chest plate.
Yeah, so I've got that going on there. Chestplate and the greaves. So and that was a fun process of slicing and then jamming things together and moving them around.
That's tricky.
Rotating them through. Yeah, it can be. There was a lot of work involved in that one. For the sorcerer, I gave the sorcerer Envious Eyes as well, and decided to take the from the Iron Sultanate. There's the Taquin bird that the captain has. Sort of, it's a little homunculus with wings, like little harpy style thing. Removing the captain from that piece was a lot more difficult than I originally thought it was going to be. So in the end, I just jammed what I had left onto the sorcerer, and when I printed it out, it was like, okay, I know I'm going to need to clip this piece off and put a little bit of putty in there because I can't do it digitally.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a fun sort of process.
I did some repos on, the mosquito night for the Black Grail.
All right.
Yeah, I did like repos and equipment on one of those. But yeah, like trying to get around all of the little wings and details. It took me forever, but
to count them out. Yeah.
we did it.
But it was a lot of it's a lot of fun. Councils, these look like a larger scale too. Same scale. They are larger models though. Yeah. So I think this guy, when he prints out, he'll be about 3.5, 4 inches tall from sort of foot to the top of the wings there. And this guy's on a 40 mil base. So you can tell how big he is from that. Dave Taylor isn't delving into digital sculpting. Don't be mistaken.
Yeah, right. You're coming for my job.
No, this is not at all. This is digital kit bashing. This is jamming other people's sculpts together because I can't leave well enough alone. And then next up, I've painted this up over the last week.
Are you playing the old world?
Yeah, my every other Wednesday night gaming group.
Oh, that's fun.
Escalation League. So
that dragon cannon is so great.
It is fantastic. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. I felt that I'd gone through and painted these up to match the Cathay models that I converted and painted 20 years ago. I thought I'd done a pretty good job of keeping them quite close together. Even the static flock on the base is the same color. And I showed them to my daughter this morning, and she was like, "No, I think this is great. It really shows how much you've improved over the last 20 years." I said, "Oh, fantastic, thank you." I was hoping they'd be fairly similar, but apparently not. So
she's like, "Okay, Dad, let's get you your pills and get you back to bed."
I hope one day my daughter tells me she thinks I improved.
Nice. It'll happen. It'll happen when you least expect it, or when you're least looking for it.
We believe in you, Sean.
Excellent. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Definitely some cool stuff in that kit. Next up, Sulin.
Dude, Sulin is killing it.
Yeah. Painted up these Space Marines for a commission.
These look so nice. This is such a nice box set. There's so much cool stuff in it. I still think one of my favorite things in the kit is like the muzzle bar on the heavy bolter. Like, so you could literally, like, you could put it up against something and still fire. Like it's like a sewing machine guard. It's hilarious that that's on.
I like to imagine that heavy bolters, usually the barrels are always getting dented. And they're like, all right, these guys are important. We'll make sure his gun doesn't get messed up when he drops it.
This is such a nice kit.
But they are a beautiful kit, and Sterling's done a fantastic job.
The purple cloak is super subtle. I dig
Yeah,
that.
that's nice. I've painted a lot of purple lately and have a heck of a time getting good contrast on it.
I always say it's my least favorite color to work with, and I think that's because it can go in so many different directions really quickly. So it's really tough.
Like it feels like it doesn't. It feels like the hue shift changes the material when you're adding light or dark. So it looks like, it's hard. It's hard. But anyways, all of that to say that looks really good. I think that nailed the shadows and highlights on the purple.
The armor's so clean too.
Yeah. Excellent work there. Beautiful work, Sulin. Next up, Jason Dyer. No painting because he is in surprise Tokyo at the moment. But he has been posting a few pics of things that he's picked up along the way. So we went to the Warhammer
420. He's got his little roach clips.
Right, yeah.
Those weird like eggplant robots, those are bizarre.
Yep. Are they kind of pseudo machining Krieger?
No idea.
I'll be honest, I can't read what it says.
Yeah.
But it's Kotobu.
I also cannot read what it is.
Yeah, so
it's got a similar approach, but
look very fun. I wonder what the plan is. Just build them as robots or use them for another.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But we'll now that we know that he's got them, we'll have to keep plunging on him to get them painted up. Yeah,
that they don't end up in the pile of shame.
Yeah. I'm sure he's going to be buying a lot more stuff as well while he's there. We had Dan Osborne on a few weeks ago. Dan said he brought back 5 suitcases full of model kits. So
that's awesome.
It's insane, isn't it?
He's opening his own store.
Yeah, they certainly could, I'm sure.
Someday I hope to go to Japan and get into a dusty model shop and just
go to town.
I like these kobolds. These are cool.
Yep. So yeah, Jim Marzullo. Jim said that he's been he and some friends have been running D&D at their local gaming store. Basically every Saturday they're doing like a D&D 101. And so for folks who haven't done any role playing before, but he did say, well, Malev says, Sean, don't go out with me.
Yeah, I'll bring him with me. I'll have 5 suitcases of Malev.
Yep, fantastic. But Jim said that his gaming group decided that maybe not decided, but they managed to get themselves into a situation where there was going to be a large battle. So I think last Saturday, he said it was an introduction to wargaming, or skirmish wargaming at least. So
I love that sloop.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? Is that from the Blood and Plunder?
It looks like the plastic Blood and Plunder ship. I could be wrong, of course, but
yeah,
it looks like that'd be.
That sail looks pretty heavy duty.
Yeah, I think it's like the foam that a lot of cosplayers use for armor plates and stuff.
It's tough because that kind of like the rigging and sails are just, there's no way you're going to play a game without slamming your elbow into it.
Yeah.
So you gotta do something.
I think you've got to make sure that the mast is removable. So you put it on the table, it looks fantastic, and then you get into the gameplay, remove the sails. But yeah, it looks fantastic. Fantastic. Nice work, Jim. Good job building community. Christian Simonson.
It looks like Grimdark's back, baby.
Back.
Oh, Christian lives there.
Yeah. So yeah, this is taken from the heart of Grimdark.
So I'm normally not a huge Grimdark fan. I love Christian stuff. It always looks so good.
Yep.
Yeah, I would definitely play in that world.
Yeah. No, beautiful work there, Christian. I think probably might have been a couple of months ago we showed off this guy, but in a different setting. But wanted to add some. It's got a real sort of dark sulfurous kind of feel.
Yeah.
It's smelling very volcanic. But yeah. Oh, Stephen has joined us. Tabletop Super Show. Welcome. Excellent. Next up, Luis. Still working on his deliverers.
Yeah. He brought him into the store. Like they definitely are much more red. Like this, they look very magenta here. Somebody at the store was saying he should like mess with his color settings while he's taking the photo, and then once it matches, take the photo. Because he's like, oh, they keep looking really like pink, and I'm like, I saw them in the store. They're not, like, they're red, but something with his camera and his lighting, it just they look super.
I like it. Grimdark's dead to me again.
Fantastic. But yeah, Luis is doing some great work on these, and it's definitely, again, having fun hanging out at Alpha Omega Hobbies.
Yeah. The last 4 armies I painted, I think I've been using magenta pink, like really, really bright fluorescent magenta on it.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Nice. Excellent. Very cool. Okay. Next up, Nathan Sorensen.
Nice.
So yeah, Nathan took this to Adepticon, entered in Golden Demon, got a notable pin that he's showing off there. It's very cool. And definitely sort of harkens back to that wonderful piece by Victoria Lamb, the sister hovering, the seraphim hovering with the flamer attacking the
the drummer guy.
But
or Roman's the blood angel with the 2 flamers coming out of the pile.
Oh, the last light.
Yeah.
But no, very cool there, Nathan. Glad that you were able to pick up that pin.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think next year it's 40 years of Golden Demon. 40 years since the first Golden Demon, so I might have to paint something up for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the 2 pieces that I was trying to do this year, but I'm gonna try to finish them.
Excellent. That's cool. Oh, sorry, just quickly, Josh said he met a painter from Las Vegas who was leaning into the Grim Bright, he calls it. So
okay,
nice. Pat Lewis, Chopper, is continuing to work on his Iron Sultanate for Trench Crusade. This sapper looks very cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
I love the metallics on that shield.
Yeah, I like the scheme, the like brass and copper, and then green and tan.
Yeah, it's very like Janissary looking with the greens and the yellows.
No, I think when he moves on to his Janissary models, we'll see how he sort of plays that out.
Nice.
But yeah, looking great. Nice work, Pat. Very cool. Scott. Here's some of Scott's Nurgle.
Scott does love greens and grays.
He does indeed. I'm really loving the depth on this axe.
Yeah.
That's sort of the subtle green that he's got going on in there.
The green on the helmet and the axe are my favorite parts.
Mm.
Right. Yep. But no, looking very cool. I think Scott could just keep painting this guy forever.
Yeah.
It is a fantastic model. So much character to it. But yeah, nice work, Scott.
That's super cool.
And Steven painted up these 2 guys.
I like how he did them in a skirmish base and a like a marshalling base, so you can do it. Is like part of a unit, or is he like on his own?
Yep. We got both options. Of
Yep.
course. You'll have to let us know, Stephen, why both.
Is he playing Old World or is he playing Age of Sigmar? Because there you go. That's how you can run.
But he says, good God, they are pretty bad sculpts. I don't know. I could admit I do like them. That face, there's so much character in that face.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of unibrow.
Yeah, it almost has like a Mark Borg kind of scattered, brutal look to the sculpt that I appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's part of the reason I don't paint. Like, I have so many old metal models, but I was really, really careful. Like, years ago, I kind of, all the pieces like this that are like just old school, like molds, I traded a bunch of them to friends of mine and got rid of them. Because as I would be painting now, there's so much like lack of detail and like a bleed over. Like, you look at his hand where the sword is and the sword's bending, and it's because of the way it was sculpted. And I'm like, it drives me nuts. I can't stand it. I'm like, I'm just gonna want to throw these models in the trash. So I traded. I was like, there's people out there that want them. Like, you can have them, enjoy them. Like, I can't paint old models like that. They literally will. I'll break out in hives. Like, I can't do
it. Well, it's a good thing Steven doesn't have that reaction.
Yeah, 100%. Steven is the guy who's like, I want those models. And I am happy that there are people that want those models.
Yeah, absolutely. He did say that the one on the round base is for a friend and the one on the square is for him.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely cool. But nice work. And I think that might be it for our community miniatures. You can check out more photos of them on Facebook at Build Paint Play Community.
For sure. And Andy wants to check out next week. So.
And for next week's show, I think we are going to be talking to Adrian Phillips from Tabletop Titans. So I think he's about an hour down the road from you, Sean.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So
kind of Sacramento area, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly.
Me neither.
Somewhere South Bay. We'll find out. But yeah, we'll be hopefully talking with Adrian. We're just going to get the final everything lined up. So this thumbnail may change. We'll find out. But anyway, that's where we're aiming.
Nice. Well, listen, Sean, thank you so much for being on the show. Like, make sure you let us know when your Kickstarter, when you're getting close to your Kickstarter. We'll have you on to prep for it and stuff, and we'll make sure we tell everybody about it and spread the word.
Cool. Thank you. That's nice of you.
Yeah, you and I will definitely have to touch base about 2-player starter stuff and getting you prepped to hopefully get in the store. Like, I think Ben and I would be psyched to get a bunch of the plastic kits in the shop. So
yeah, it can happen. They're all in my driveway.
you're like I know a guy. Dave, you got anything else or anything you want to go over or add?
No, I think that's probably it for the moment. Right. Just to say thanks for coming back on, Sean. Cool. I always love. I say it all the time. I love to know how the sausage is made, but I also really love to know why the sausage is being made.
Yeah.
So, why did you make this sausage? Tell me about
it. It's complicated.
Anybody listening, make sure you guys go down below. We have the link to Sean's page. You can go on and pick up some battle pigs for yourself. Tell your local store if they're interested in carrying them, like they can reach out to Sean. Make sure you guys do all the stuff, like, subscribe, share us wherever, hit the bell for notifications, all that good stuff. Huge thanks to Army Painter for sponsoring us again. Big thanks to Sean for being here. Thank everybody for being here. And we will see you next week. And as always, do not forget to build, paint, play.
Shut up and sit down.